Snagoop. My favorite Lumion, for multiple reasons. I like its design a lot, but mostly I grew attached to it from using it about a year ago and massacring entire teams in the Coliseum. And I think Snagoop is a great Lumion and is kind of underrated. It's not uncommon by any means, but I think it's a little better than people give it credit for and should probably be a little bit more common. I think Snagoop's an interesting Lumion, and I want to talk about it as to why I think Snagoop is good and its job in the team. So, shall we begin? According to the fan wiki, Snagoop is a toxic and air-type Lumion that's based on a Heron, a bird that has long, thin, black legs and similar to Snagoop, as well as gray feathers. Also, there's a lot more. I'm too lazy to read all of this, but I copy-pasted this from the wiki. Anyhow, we're here to talk about Snagoop and competitive Lumion Legacy anyways. Let's start off with its stats. They're pretty good. Its range attack is a single point lower than the metagame Titan Deludrix. But unlike Deludrix, however, Snagoop isn't slower than Phagelin and Cosmire. Snagoop outruns those. In fact, its speed stat is 108. A massive speed stat for such a strong Lumion, outrunning Fariglyph and Gargolem attack, which are huge. Its defenses are actually alright for an offensive Lumion too, having a high range defense and an average melee defense. Unfortunately, its HP is terribly low, only at 50, so it's still technically frail. Finally, its energy is a solid base 89. These stats lead me to believe that Snagoop has two primary sets. The first one is the one that I use most often, what I refer to as the offensive stall breaker. Hey, editing Terzo here. I just want to say, this video took so long. I had to work more than 24 hours just to get this video out. I didn't get much sleep. I don't get much sleep to begin with anyways. I'm fine. I'm just gonna say, please appreciate the work I put in for this video. Please. The script alone took an entire hour to write, and I still feel like I missed a lot of things that I'm probably gonna add later. So please, appreciate it. Also, the background footage is the main issue. It took so long to get all the background footage. Now, what does this actually mean? I call it as such for a few reasons. People that play competitive Pokemon might be aware of the stall breaking combo of Taunt and Roost, used by Pokemon like Gliscor and Mandibuzz. These sets are meant to be stall breakers by preventing recovery, allowing the passive damage of Toxic, Stealth Rocks, and chip damage from things like their U-turns to stick to the walls that they're outlasting, and they heal themselves. I kinda stuttered a lot there. If you can't tell, Snagoop has this exact same combo, now renamed to the frankly much less appealing Provoke and Perch. I'm not really a fan of it. I think Taunt Toxic sounds a lot better than Provoke and Perch. Either way, this makes Snagoop an offensive Lumion that can function as a stall breaker, which is actually fairly unique. Lumions with Provoke and Recovery are either slow like Chartiki, or their recovery isn't nearly as reliable, like Ranfino. The closest thing to Snagoop is Wintrix, which is also a stall breaker. However, Wintrix is much slower than Snagoop, and actually speed tying with Deludrix. It also can't always beat the stalwart of stall, pun intended, known as Venilin, since it isn't immune to adaptive assault poisons, so even if it provokes it, it can still get poisoned and outlasted. Unlike Snagoop, who is immune to Venilin's poison and resists adaptive assault, allowing Snagoop to easily switch into Venilin, making it one of the few range attackers that can beat Venilin without hitting it super effectively. It's no Metatoad. Who needs Psycho Blast? The Perch Provoke combo makes Snagoop a fast, offensive, and unique stall breaker. Runs dual stabs on this set and the ability Immunize, which is its most consistent ability. Some people like to drop Provoke for barter, and use the end of Volcanic Ash or Thunder Orb as a means of crippling threats. As a Pokemon player, I think this is stupid, and frankly the impact isn't nearly as noticeable as you may expect. I'm not gonna call it outright bad, but I'm not really interested in this set. I personally just run an Essence, usually Toxic, but sometimes Air. I also run these items on the other primary, and more common and popular Snagoop set, the Buck Up set. I'm not sure whether to classify this as a sweeper or a wall breaker, But since personally I've used this set as both, either way, this set hits like a truck once you get a buck up off. Buck up is a move that basically only Snagoop would ever use, pairing this with its ability Marksman, which makes critical hits do, I believe, double damage? Maybe triple? I'm not sure. But either way, Buck Up, as a move, increases the critical hit ratio of the user, roughly to 50%. This makes Snagoop an inconsistent smacker of teams, but when it works, boy does it work, and it can very easily run over weakened teams. Snagoop occasionally runs Airblade over Jetstream on these sets. Airblade is weaker and can't drop speed, but it has a natural increased crit ratio, meaning after a Buck Up, Snagoop guarantees a crit with Airblade. This is better for consistency, and personally, I'd like Airblade a lot more. It also sometimes uses the very Nimble personality over Smart Nimble. Smart Nimble is a personality that doesn't compromise anything, and if anything, it improves Snagoop as Tricky Tactics is way less thanks to Very Frail, meaning its boosts to its range, attack, and speed are utterly free. However, as a sweeper, Snagoop is willing to drop melee defense in exchange of having more speed, which allows it to sweep through faster teams, as it straight up outspeeds Nimble Zulong, which I didn't know before making this video. Both Snagoop sets are really good in my eyes. However, Snagoop, of course, isn't invincible at all. It does have its fair share of weaknesses to the extent that Snagoop is not officially OU. I should probably explain what that means to those unaware. Feel free to skip this segment, but I have way too many people that don't know what tiers mean, so I'm gonna spend some time to go over that. OU is standard play. It's the meta you're playing when you go to the Coliseum unless you find some bastards using Ubers, which are Lumias that are universally deemed to be overpowered and tend to be banned in tournaments. Most people will not use them as such because it's just kinda not fun using broken things. And if people are using Ubers, it's usually either a noob with a tank Mutagon or a masochist using Hypnotized Metronet. By the way, for the record, Yorso used to be an Uber but was released into OU because the meta was way too offensive, and Yorso helps in checking these fast offensive teams. It's still very strong and quite oppressive in my opinion, but hey, it's there. And I'm not part of the OU council, so I don't get to choose to ban Yorso again, as much as I would like to. There are, however, tiers below OU. In the concept of Lumion Legacy, these are just general classifications rather than actual metagames of how strong the Lumions are. UU is the tier below OU and NU is the tier below UU. These are based off early generations of Pokemon, where in Generation 1, Ubers, OU, UU, and NU are the only tiers in that order. Snagoop is UUBL, which means either UU Borderline or UU Ban List. Either way, this means that it's banned from UU, effectively being the Uber of UU, but it's not strong enough to be OU. I personally really disagree with this, but I don't make the rules, so yeah. Snagoop's UUBL. It's in the same tier as Carolyn, which after saying that out loud, saying Snagoop is on the same tier as Carolyn sounds masochistic. Whatever. Now it's time to discuss what Snagoop's weaknesses are, because, well, I mentioned it earlier, but I decided to go off rails and start talking about tiers. Anyways, it's not really difficult to switch into. There are Lumias that can handle his dual stab combination easily, like Himber and Tyrex, which the latter especially is very common and very annoying. However, these Lumians are meant to check a lot of a team and don't have recovery. Snagoop teaming up with Lumians that can wear down these Lumians is very helpful, especially since in reality, Snagoop is actually very difficult to switch into, as each Muck Blast has a 30% chance to poison the Himber or Tyrex or whatever. Snagoop's actual best counter is probably Halvantic, which is admittedly a massive problem. Halvantic is a dangerous specialty boot sweeper that actually has similar traits to Snagoop, namely, a strong stab toxic move that is hard to switch into. But overall, Halvantic is a major issue. The checks to Halvantic do not appreciate being on a timer at all. Basically, the best answer is something like Mysterious Dust Defensive Phase Knot or something, but overall, Halvantic is a major issue. Not insurmountable though, it can certainly be beaten, potentially catching it with an Earth move if lucky, or out-offensing it with Boots, Deladrix, or Gargulum attack. Snagoop itself has a niche boot set that, after wearing Halvantic down, can KO Halva with a Raging Howl. Yes, Snagoop learns that. I don't know why, but it certainly does. And it's the best move that it has against Halvantic. Good partners for Snagoop are probably Lumias that can help Snagoop wear down the bulky Earth type like Zulong and Eclipse, as they invite in Tyrex and can slowly chip it down with damage. Zulong especially can pivot out in a bad situation, unless it's a staunch Tyrex, which... I mean, if your opponent is using staunch Tyrex, you're probably fine. Pyroland is a particularly nice partner in my opinion, as it can be a surprise much batter for Halvantic and heavily threatens Tyrex and Himber, though it itself is similarly threatened by the Earth types. It also has a Stratosaur, not a counter to Snagoop, but it's certainly an annoyance for it, and thanks to its Fanning Flame ability, it can handle even super effective jet streams that aren't actually super effective thanks to the ability, though I personally don't care much for Pyroland. And that's likely all. Let me know if you like this new commentary style video of mine, and if you want to see more. It was really fun making this video, even if it may not be of the best quality. If I missed anything, feel free to inform me in the comments. Anyhow, have a great day everyone.